It's a pleasure to have you. National Science and Maths Quiz debutants Sonrise Senior High School beat Opoku Ware School at the preliminary stages to qualify to the 1/8 stage of the ongoing National Science and Maths Quiz. The new entrants proved to be a force to reckon with as they scored all full points in round 4 of the contest. A correct answer to the last question for the contest solidified their position as victors, beating one-time winner Opoku Ware with 3 points. Watch this.
This is the atmosphere here at the RS Abagashi Auditorium. Sonrise debutant Sonrise Senior High School have been declared as winners. Remember, they came against renowned Opoku Ware Senior High School. They beat them by 3 points. Now, Sonrise, they had 49 points. Opoku Ware, they followed with 46 points. Sonrise Senior High School is their first time in the competition, and they've qualified to the 1/8 stage of the prestigious National Science and Maths Quiz. They cannot hide their excitement. Let's talk to some of them. Hey, how excited are you?
Very excited. I don't know how to say it. Initially, we were losing, but we even won Opoku Ware. That's shocking. We are very excited. Very, very excited. I can't be brief.
You're a teacher at Sonrise.
Yes.
Your students, they scored perfect points in round 4 of the competition.
Yes.
Of course, Opoku Ware was giving them a good run for their money. But at the end of the day, they emerged victorious. This is your first time in the National Science and Maths Quiz?
Yes, this is our first time. And we believe we're coming to prove our school and then prove everybody that Sonrise is a good school. Yes. So we have already beaten Opoku Ware, and the sky is our limit.
What is the secret? What's the secret for Sonrise? Because for a lot of people, this is the first time they're hearing of Sonrise.
Yes, Sonrise, even though this is our first time, we believe anything that we set our hands to do, we do it with all our might. And we believe in ourselves that when we say this is what we are doing, that is what we are doing. We set everything, our strength and everything. But with God, we know we can always go to the top. Yes.
Well, let's hear what the students are saying right now. The Jama session is on. Let's get to the stage. Let's talk to the contestants. Let's find out from them how they were able to do this. Of course, this requires some kind of mental fortitude because, they came in as the underdog. Really, nobody gave them a chance to win against Opoku Ware, but they've proven everybody wrong here. And right now, it's all excitement for the neutrals, who are here, whose schools are not really competing. They all show their support behind Sonrise because they proved to be a force to reckon with in the 4th round of the contest. Gentlemen, come, get closer. Let's talk to you. Now, how were you able to do this?
It took a lot of preparation, a lot of work, and yeah, it was very tough, but we had to put in a lot. Yeah, so it was a lot of work.
Now, in round 4, you guys didn't get any of the questions wrong. It was correct throughout. How did you manage to do that?
Back at school and when we came here, we always practice, especially the two of us. We go through the previous contests, and through that we were able to, and we learned more. We read more on the internet and in some books. So through the research, we were able to get all the questions right.
Well, coming up against OWAS, were you scared of OWAS? Because they've won this competition before, and this is the first time you're in the National Science and Maths Quiz.
Our teacher always told us that the schools have big name, but they always bring new students. So it's not the name, but it's the people that come on stage. So we took it as, we are just on a flat field, and everything is equal. So they are not better than us. All we have to do is to make sure we do our best, and our best was enough to win them.
Okay, your best was enough to win the contest. Thanks so much for talking to us. They've caused a major upset. Now for Opoku Ware Senior High School, they would have to pray to be part of the schools with the losing schools with the highest point, so they can progress to the next stage of the competition. Now the excitement is continuing outside. Let's just catch some action outside here right now. It's not stopping anytime soon. Like I told you, the neutrals have joined in the celebration, and it's continuing outside the auditorium of Sonrise Senior High School. They are going back to the hall to go and continue the jubilation right now. They're going back to their residence. The guys from Opoku Ware, they are nowhere to be found at this point. Reporting for Joy News, Maxwell Agbagba.
Great report there from Maxwell. Well, this is an edition, the National Science and Math Quiz you have to watch. It's the 25th anniversary, and schools like Sonrise, you must watch out for them because they've been causing some major upsets in the preliminary stages of the competition, just beating Opoku Ware by 3 points. Stay with us here on the Joy News channel for all you need to know on this year's edition of the National Science and Maths Quiz. Away from that, Acting Medical Superintendent for the Lekma Polyclinic, Dr. William Otre Frimpong, has described as appalling doctor-to-patient ratio and how some tertiary institutions deny some students who had distinction the opportunity to study medicine because they do not have the infrastructure to accommodate them. Dr. Otre Frimpong spoke to Joy News after delivering a talk at the mentorship session at the ongoing Science and Maths Quiz.
You cannot pretend that we're training adequately. But for me, the challenge also is in how strategic we are about the few that we are training. So that if we also lose the few we are training because we can't secure them placement in the public facilities, and we lose them either to private sector or to the travel outside, then it's almost like it's a double, it's a slap on the two sides of the faces. So yes, we would need to, of course the universities can't take in more than they can. We probably should encourage private sector to get involved. We now have some private medical schools coming up. Hopefully we would see some more of them that would assist with the numbers. But overall, we still have to be strategic about how we plan for our human resource needs, which is something that you realize that it's not just limited to medicine, but it's acute there also because when a life is lost, it can be counted. But there are areas where there's also a short supply of critical skills, but maybe because it's not so dramatic when when we see the impact of the non-performance in that area. But yes, as a nation, there's a lot more that we need to do. Nigeria has some more medical schools than we have, and I don't know if that's the way to go, but certainly the question you asked is germane. We'll need to leaders in charge of healthcare policy and planning need to be strategic about these things.
A final question before we wrap up with your time in senior high school. Recently, we've been talking about the no bed, syndrome. It has dominated the airways. I mean, since the week started. You are the acting medical superintendent for Lekma Polyclinic. What really is the situation on the ground?
Well, my director of the Ghana Health Service has issued a statement to the media. The Ghana Health Service has also done same. I would, for now, work with these two guidelines in a hope that we would be able to work behind the scenes to improve the situation. Given the position that I occupy, I don't think that it's important to offer a public opinion. The opinion would have to be channeled properly, and I would have to give my director the benefit of the doubt and also the association that I'm a part of.
Residents of Old Tafo Zongo in Kumasi are fuming over the choice of a football pitch for redevelopment as a community facility supposedly under the Zongo Development Fund. They accuse authorities, including Zongo and Inner City Development Minister Boniface Abubakar Sadiq, of failing to undertake consultations before arriving at the decision. Now, it comes 2 months after the minister cut short for work to begin on the reshaping of the Methodist School Park on the periphery of the community at the expense of other pitches in mainland Old Tafo Zongo in Kumasi. Love FM's Anita Azoga has visited the community and filed this report.
Construction of the football pitch, according to officials, is aimed at bringing harmony to a community which has seen recurrent clashes between Zongo youth and their indigenous peers. Residents of Zongo are, however, unenthused about the location of the facility almost outside their jurisdiction. This is the Azaria School Park, where the Salah Fest will be taking place after the Ramadan. Residents believe that money used to refurbish the Methodist Park should have been used on this park. They insist this place is bigger and suitable for the project.
Some people be park or more casting.
I think the elders should have discussed with the youth about the ideas of Zongo Development Fund, but that didn't happen. We heard out of the blue that the Zongo Development Fund was taking effect. The next morning, some people were on the park cutting salt. They should have met with the chiefs, youths and opinion leaders before making any decision. As a former assemblyman knowing the history of Tafo, where the refurbished park is situated isn't part of the Zongo community. We hope our leaders consult the youth the next time they want to help.
As a former assemblyman, minim Tafo Abakosema, there be a park in Akosino and Zongo Development Fund. If it says that park no in Zongo. As minister by besides a park no park ni there. I say
the truth is, Zongo community doesn't have a park. According to the minister, Zongo Development Fund is not here for only the park.
And Medina, and Yeji, and Salga.
Some also argue they had more serious issues like poor roads and drainage systems that need more attention than the football pitch. They say in case of fire outbreak, access to the fire brigade will be an issue.
The
project shouldn't be politicized because it's the future that matters. The drain will help us than the park because it's closer to the Tafo Central Mosque. When it floods, you can't stay here, she says. The whole place gets flooded. We need the reconstruction of the drain.
Concerns at Old Tafo are a departure from the situation at Asawasi Zongo, where unemployment is the major issue. Meet Ganiu Salam, a rickshaw driver of 2 years. He used to be an onion trader.
The onion business was capital intensive, and at a point I couldn't continue, so I entered into the rickshaw business, and I'm now okay.
Asawasi is the most populated area in the Asokori Mampo municipality with over 80,000 inhabitants according to the 2010 population census. Sadly, youth unemployment is rife in the community. They say cola business, which used to be dominant, is losing its viability. The rickshaw business has therefore provided employment to over 1,000 youth in the constituency.
The unemployed youth used to engage in illicit drugs like marijuana and tramol, and also stealing. But because of the rickshaw, the menace has reduced.
Station Master Mohammed Mubarak shares Ganiu's sentiment.
Job opportunity. It's one of our big problems. By the grace of God, we have gotten some, this job doing.
call it the tricycle motor.
Of course, their testimonies are visible on the streets, but there's a problem. This is Alaba, and this is the only point you can get to when using a rickshaw. A further drive from this place could lead to the arrest of the driver and an impoundment of the rickshaw for 2 to 3 days.
They tell us it isn't authorized, but we go for driver's license and roadworthy certificate, and they also allow for importation.
It's times we don't know. I don't know because they do not commercialize this vehicle or whatever. I don't understand.
Residents want government to use the Zongo Development Fund to invest in acquiring rickshaws for the youth as a source of livelihood.
So if they use some of the money and buy and purchase this, this tricycle machine and give to some of the youth, at least it can help in the society too.
According to riders here in the Sawasi constituency, the rickshaw has provided a lot of job opportunities for the youth and are pleading with the government to help provide more rickshaws as part of the Zongo Development Funding Initiative and maybe help them move around freely. Reporting for Joy News, Anita Ajoga Sewa, Asawase, Kumasi.
Well, Minister for Zongo and Inner City Development, Alhaji Abubakar Siddiq Boniface, has been responding to the challenges raised by residents, as reported in our Joy News agenda this week.
As soon as possible, right now, the board has come in place. The board has been sworn in just 2 days ago. They are supposed to start work. The executives for the Zongo Development Fund Secretariat have been appointed. The supporting staff will soon be appointed. And definitely work has to start.
So work has not started yet?
I have started from my ministry.
What has been done?
If you follow my activities, there are other activities I'm doing for various communities. So far, we have engaged 3,000 Arabic instructors in this country. It's one of those things in our mandates. 2, I've started with some places rehabilitating some schools. Because you go to Zongo communities today, I'll say without doubt, you can't find any good school in the Zongo communities compared to seemingly elite schools, so elite communities. So some of the schools that are so dilapidated, we are rehabilitating them to modern status. Some we need to collapse them and help build new schools so that they also feel some comfort within them that now their standards have been raised to a certain level. So it's so important that we do this. Apart from that, we're also establishing some football parks, either AstroTurf or green parks. This is to tell you why, because you go to a community, their major interests, if you care to know, their major interest might be football, basketball, or volleyball. You need to give them the opportunity. And because you check the history of Zongo, in terms of football, with respect to football, Zongo people, prime so high. They are rated so high as far as football is concerned in this country. And I always say it without doubt. We have had 3 best African footballers in this country. All the 3 best African footballers come from Zongo communities. Ibrahim Sande in 1972, Golden Boy Abdurazak in 1978, Abedi Pele 1982. Since 82, we've not had any best African footballer. And all the names, maybe some of the names I'll be mentioning, have lived up to expectation. If you come to Accra, you have people like Mohamed Polo, Abu Moro, Bashir Gambo, Mamakwa, Anas Seidu. You have a lot of them. When you go to Medina, anytime they invite players to Black Stars, you have not less than 5 people.
So how many of these parks have been constructed?
So far, we have not less than 10, because I know AstroTurf we only have 3. The green parks are ongoing. You have a place like Salaga, Bolga, Yeji, you have Odan, Walwale, you have Chebi, you have Medina. They are all ongoing. And very soon, they'll start commissioning them.
And these schools that are being rehabilitated, how many?
So far, we have about 2 or 3 that we have started, and we have identified about 51 projects in 41 communities. We've sent, we are asking for commencement warrant from Ministry of Finance. Monies have been made available, but you cannot commence when you don't have the certificates. This is where we have to engage the contractors. So within the next few weeks, I hope maybe 2 weeks, a contractor should move to site and works will begin.
Away from Zongo development, the Opoku Health Center in the Eastern region is appealing for support to resource its facility. The facility is in dire need of beds, materials and equipment that will make it a well-resourced center. Assemblyman for the Opoku electoral area, Nana Yao Ampimdako, says this is a sure way of providing quality health care to people in the catchment area. Correspondent Kwame Yanka has sent in the following report.
Opoku is the district capital of Usujaman in the Eastern region. Before the health facility was relocated to its current location, it was relying on storerooms spared by residents to care for patients. The new facility, which took about 7 years to build, is incomplete, contrary to what the previous administration claimed. A portion of the ceiling is not fixed, leaving the wires exposed. Nanaya Wampendako has been speaking to Joy News.
We urge them to also look down to us to ensure that whatever project that has been started is completed and people enjoy it. When they begin to enjoy it, then they will understand that there's a change and improvement in their life. By looking at the situation what we have as a district capital, then I'm sorry, the assembly is just a stone throw from here, and you can see what we've been struggling for it for over 7 years. But they were occupying some stores down there, which is not the best. Whatever the situation is, they have to come thinking that things will change, but it's the same. It's even getting worse because the population the patients keep on increasing. So we use this medium to appeal, I'm saying especially to the first and second ladies to come to our aid, because we know what they are doing. Whatever they've gotten for Kumasi, they should also bring some to Opoku, so the district capital. We are in dire need.
He added some nurses have to rely on torchlight due to the poor lighting system to carry out their duties.
You have a midwife here, so delivery ward, there's nothing there. So if you talk of delivery ward, they will know kind of equipment. If you talk of the maternity room, there's nothing there. Even the OPD detention unit, you've seen there's only a single bed. At first it was a wooden bed, and even the lighting systems are not complete. According to some of them, they have to even use their phones to light the light of their phones to take care of certain patients. So delivery, maternity, and detention room. So these are areas when it's improved that at least then we can see a change. So these are areas that we appeal for them to come and assist.
Meanwhile, the Sojaman District Chief Executive Samuel Ejekum has assured the facility will be completed within his tenure.
We still need to do some work on it. We have provided in the 2018 budget. So we expect that this year, 2018, some work will be done on it. We hope to complete it fully this year. It is our responsibility that all the health centers in the district operate well. Take care of the patients who report to those health facilities well. So we will do our part as an assembly to provide the logistics that the staff will need to do their work.
Kwame Yanke's report for Joy News.
We will all die and possibly be buried, and the thought of this makes many people uncomfortable. Since it's inevitable, have you paused to imagine the kind of coffin you'll be buried in? An unpleasant question to ask, isn't it? My colleague Komla Adom looks at some carpenters who have mastered the art of designing fancy coffins in the Volta region.
Coffins. Almost every one of us alive today will own one someday. Some people write in their will and specify the type of coffin they wish to be buried in. Many years ago, carpenters would merely make a four-sided funeral box used for view or keeping the corpse. But this has changed. Here at Agbebolo Furniture Shop is this coffin designed in the shape of a 2-bedroom house. This custom-made coffin will soon be picked up by family of the deceased, siblings who perished in a motor accident last month. That is just one of the marquee caskets Agbebolo makes right here, about 200 meters away from the Margaret Marquardt Catholic Hospital at Pando. Over there is one for a preacher of a local Assemblies of God church at Vakpo who died after a short illness. In Agbebolo's shop are various shades of caskets, those you would describe as ordinary and those some will describe as extraordinary. Of course, these do not come cheap. Doji Drafo also works in this shop, and he tells me these fantasy caskets could cost between 1,800 and 2,000 cedis. Clients make special orders for some of these fantasy caskets. This one, for example, was sent to us via social media, but we sometimes creatively make them by ourselves. Sometimes those who are preachers get us to make the caskets in the design of a Bible. Others get us to make them in the design of a microphone, and those who are fisher folk get us to do the caskets in the style of a fish. I've been doing this with Agbebolo for 4 years, and as the years roll by, the caskets get more expensive. But how do they come up with some of these complex designs? People come and make special orders: cars, stools, Bibles, and many others. For some, the concern that those who make coffins and caskets get engaged only if someone dies is a scary wish. But like every other business, one prays for success, and the casket business is no exception. Atasu has for the past 15 years been at it. I started this many years ago, and not without challenges. There were real-time challenges, but we overcame them. More or less, the price ranges between 800 and 8,200 cedis. Once the person dies, they must be buried. And fortunately or unfortunately, the mortuary is close to where I am, and I get people coming to make purchases every now and then. We do not pray for people to die, but definitely one will die. Averagely, he sells 2 coffins every weekend, and it is no surprise a good number of them line up under his shed here in the center of the town. The red and black attires on the streets of Hohoe, Vakpo, Pando, and Chome Sabadu signal one thing: it's another weekend, and scores of families are burying their dead. From the big budget to the lean and moderate, all these families will bury their dead anyway, and all the departed will require a casket for the funeral and burial rites. Agbebolo, Atasu, and some coffin makers here at Pando tell me the underlying myths that the type of casket you are buried in determines your final resting place still pushes some families to make expensive choices. But a pastor with the International Central Gospel Church Christ Temple, Reverend Alan Okoming Mensah, disagrees.
By the time you die, Pam, the soul is gone. That is why when anybody dies and we are going to pick the person from mortuary, we don't mention the person's name. We say we are going to pick the dead body. We don't say that we are going to pick Kwesi Mensah from the mortuary. So that is dead, useless cargo. So any expense you make on it means nothing, absolutely nothing. You have money and you want to spend. And 99% of the caskets are Wawa boats, infested with wood borers and covered with lamination. So you shouldn't think that you are lying in any expensive things, useless cargo.
He says once an individual dies, no matter how much expenses are made during the burial, the life they lived will ultimately tell where their soul will end.
No tradition puts value on the dead body, but for the respect of the person and the life he lived. That is why we go through all these things. But to say that that thing in mortuary is the person and the casket is going to increase the person's acceleration to God or not. By the time you give your last breath, palm, destination has been decided. Our destination is determined by the confessions we have made whilst we lived.
For some, the huge expenses made during funeral and burial rites could be cut down significantly. It is unnecessary to spend lots of money on the dead. I cannot imagine myself or a family member of mine spending as much as 1,500 cedis on a casket. That is wasteful spending.
So if a person dies, it means that there's no need for too much spending of money, waste of resources here and there. So I think that for somebody to waste much money for, let's say, because of caskets, I personally think that is unnecessary. Yes.
Well, whether high-end or low-budget, there will be funeral and burial rites. And depending on one's tradition, you may need a coffin or a casket, or maybe more than just these, to send off a loved one. Komla Adom, Joy News, Bando.
Something to think about, isn't it? This is Joy News Today. Business is next.